Hi everyone, you're welcome once again to another English class. Today in our lesson we'll be looking at adjectives and then comparison or degrees of adjectives. So what are adjectives? Adjectives are words that describe nouns. Adjectives are words that describe nouns. What are nouns? I'm sure by now you must have heard about nouns, or you even know what nouns are. Nouns are names of anything at all: people, places, things, even animals. So anything at all that has a name is a noun. And besides, anything you can see, you can touch, you can feel is a noun. Whatever it is that has a name. Okay, so adjectives are words that describe all these things that we just mentioned now. So anything that describes a person is a noun. It's an adjective. Anything that describes an animal is an adjective. If it tells us about a thing, it could be a book, it could be a pencil, anything at all that is tangible, whatever tells us about that thing is an adjective. Let's look at some examples. The first one here says, I have a blue pen. I have a blue pen. So from what we know about nouns, we know that pen is the name of something. So that means pen is a noun. Now, if pen is a noun, then the blue that is telling us about the pen is telling us the color of the pen. It's giving us more insight into the pen. So it's describing this pen for us. That means the blue here is our adjective. That's our adjective. And the next one here is the girl is intelligent. The girl is a noun. Okay, it's a general name of a female that is a young child. So the girl is intelligent. Now, if this is a noun, this intelligent is telling us about this girl. This intelligent is a word that is describing the girl. So intelligent here is our adjective. And the last example we have here says, Lagos is a busy city. Lagos is a busy city. Lagos, we know, is the name of a state, is the name of a city as well. Okay? So, if Lagos, we know, is the name of a place, that means Lagos is a noun. And then, even the city, which is also representing Lagos here, okay, is a noun. So the busy is telling us about the kind of place or the kind of city that Lagos is describing Lagos. So an adjective is a word that tells us more about a noun or that describes a noun. I hope we now understand what adjectives are. Okay, they are words that describe. If it's an animal, you can say a tiger is a wild animal. That wild there is telling us about the kind of animal that a tiger is. So generally, anything that describes a noun is an adjective. So next, we're going to look at comparison or degrees of adjectives. Adjectives, since they tell us about nouns, they can also be used to compare. They help us to do comparison of these nouns. So that's the next thing we're going to look at. So next, we're going to look at comparison or degrees of adjectives. Some call it comparison of adjectives, others degrees of adjectives. They mean the same thing. And what does that mean? Comparison of adjectives simply means how adjectives are used to compare things. The way they are used to compare things, the form they assume when comparing things with adjectives. So there are 3 levels of comparison or degrees of adjectives. There are 3 levels. So the first one here is positive. And that positive is the base word, that's the adjective itself. The ordinary word that is just an adjective. And the comparative is the second level, and that is the form the adjective takes when it is comparing 2 things. Okay, when it's comparing 2 things. And then the superlative is the third level, and it is the form the adjective takes when it is comparing 3 or more nouns. Okay, I use nouns here so that you will know it's covering everything, whether things, people, places, or even animals. Okay, so comparative is when the adjective is comparing 2 nouns, and then superlative is when it is comparing 3 or more nouns. So we have the positive, the comparative, and the superlative. We are going to look at the different, because they all do not change in the same way to the comparative and the superlative forms. There are different rules that guide them. So we're going to look at them one after the other. Let's take some examples. So the first set we're going to look at the set of adjectives that change from the positive or the base form to the comparative form with the addition of er, and then the superlative form with the addition of est. Okay, er and est, they change to comparative and superlative form respectively. So here are some examples. The first one here is long, long, longer, longest. Short, shorter, shortest. Smart, smarter, smartest. Kind, kinder, kindest. Rich, richer, richest. Now, you say a pencil is long. But if you have 2 pencils, you say this pencil is longer than the other one. This pencil is longer than the other one. Then to use the superlative form, it has to be 3 or more pencils. For instance, you are comparing, you can say this pencil is the longest of the 3 pencils, or this pencil is the longest of all the pencils. So you have a long pencil, my pencil is longer than yours. My pencil is the longest among all the pencils. The boy is short. He is shorter than his friend. He is the shortest of the 3 friends, or he is the shortest in the class. Smart, he is the smartest boy. He is smarter than the brother. He is the smartest in the house. So just to let you know how you use them. Remember, we said comparative used to compare 2 nouns, while superlative is used to compare 3 or more nouns. And another thing I need you to take note of, when you are using the comparative form, you just use it straight, like he is taller, or the pencil is longer, he is shorter, straight. But if it is the superlative form, you have to add the word the. The. Very important. You have to say, like, this pencil is the longest pencil, the shortest boy in class, the smartest in the house. Okay, so with the use of superlative, you must add the. Okay, so we're going to look at another set of adjectives that change differently, to the comparative and superlative forms. So the next group we're going to look at is a group of the adjectives that change from the base form to the comparative and superlative forms by doubling the last consonants. They double their last consonants before adding on er and est respectively. Okay, they change to their comparative and superlative form first by repeating the last consonant, they double it, and then add on ER and EST to form the comparative and superlative forms. So here are some examples. You have big, bigger. To change to comparative, we didn't just put ER, but the G doubles before ER and biggest. Fat, the T at the end doubles before the ER, fat, fatter, fattest. Sad, sadder, saddest. You see the D doubles. Slim, slimmer, slimmest, M doubles. And red, redder, reddest. Here you see the D doubling as well. Now there are different groups, different categories of this comparison of adjectives. So in our next lesson, we are going to consider the other groups in these degrees of adjectives and the rules that guide their change from the positive to the comparative and superlative forms. See you next week.